this is Terry with Openly Concealed with Terry Piper here in the heart of Idaho Enhanced Academy on episode 2 of this podcast. And I have my special guest, Justin Graves from Centerfire Distillery, owner, founder of Centerfire Distillery,
Sure.
owner and founder of Calibre.
Sure.
I'll let him talk. Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then also Caracal USA, a gun company right here in Boise, Idaho. And so we'll talk about that. And he'll talk about some of the products he has with Centerfire Distillery. So, Justin.
Yes, Terry.
So, just a little history of Justin and I. So we've both been in the gun industry for, I don't know, 500 years or something like that. Yeah. And so Justin worked also for 2A Armament, Odin Works. And then we worked together at Nemo Arms.
We did.
Kind of a funny story. I was out of work after being a holster executive for a lot of years and put it in an application. And he called me like 5 minutes later. He was like, "Get your butt in here for an interview." Yeah. Went in, got hired that day, and worked for Nemo. And only place I've ever been laid off twice. Kind of a funny story. We'll tell that story later. But anyway, Justin, tell us a little bit about Centerfire, about Calibre, about Caracal.
Well, Centerfire is kind of my baby. That's Centerfire Distillery. So that's liquor, spirits, alcohol, whatever you want to call it.
Alcohol.
There's some samples here that are from our distillery. So we do corn whiskeys. We have a bourbon that's not out yet. Okay. We have a coffee whiskey, which we'll dive into it.
So this is quite tasty.
All of our stuff's tasty, Terry.
Correct.
And we have some moonshines too, so we can get into moonshines.
Huckleberry, mango, strawberry.
Yep. Got the works with that. So that's really, it's just like a vodka, really good mixing beverage.
Okay.
So these are kind of our flagship products here. Our best seller is the Huckleberry Moonshine. It's Idaho.
Yes. Huckleberries in Idaho.
It's like Montana and Idaho, the huckleberries. But the corn whiskey is our gold medal winner. This guy right here, it's 100% Idaho corn that we threw into that. Everything we try to do is Idaho, if not United States. Obviously, if we have to go out, we will. But we try to keep it here. So that's our baby right there. And then we brought in this cute little thing.
So tell us about your partnership with Hoyser Country and the Drunken Bean.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So this young lady behind me is Claudia Hoyser. She's a country singer out of Rochester, New York.
Okay.
She owns a coffee company called Hoyser Country Blend. I was a huge fan of it. I'm a huge fan of her music. The coffee is, and I'm a big coffee snub.
A
little bit.
We might both be a little bit of coffee snubs.
Just a tiny bit. I'm telling you right now, it's one of the best coffees I've ever had in my life. Right out of the bag.
So I haven't tried it yet. So I'm used to Costa Rica coffee and Gas Bog.
Well, I'm going to change you.
Okie dokie.
Otherwise, you're laid off. If you don't.
Again. Is this from Nemo or correct?
Okay, so we had kind of a wild idea with her coffee. Like, what if we took the coffee and we took our whiskey and we made something with it?
Okay.
It's really hard to do that because coffee and whiskey is a very strong profile flavor on both. So it took a long time to get. I mean, we probably had 50 different renditions that we tried, recipes and stuff. Ultimately, this was born.
All right.
So through, literally a few years of working on different things, a couple years of recipes and going back and forth. COVID hit in the middle of COVID. We still tried to finalize this. So it was all over the phone. There was no flying there, here,
I remember. So we planned on getting together and there'd be like some super secret meeting with people and stuff and things and stuff.
And secret. We can't talk about it. Secret.
Classified, redacted.
So that being said, no, and this is what was created out of it. So kind of a cool deal. We do have a little bit of sugars in it, so it's not so harsh. That's kind of
it's pretty sweet. It's a sweet
whiskey.
Product. Yes.
Yeah. It's good for any occasion. Good for the morning. It's good for dessert. Your coffee.
I haven't tried that in the coffee. Coffee, whiskey, and coffee. Huh.
Interesting.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But a lot of people ask me that. I've never tried it. Like, what's it like? What do you compare it to? The closest thing I could say is like, it's a sort of like a liqueur, Definitely got your coffee notes in there. You got your little bit of a burn at the end from whiskey.
Okay.
If you add,
and I have tried it in like cream.
Cream,
like,
you can make like a Kahlua.
Yeah, like a Kahlua.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Is they're a cream base or a coffee base. If you put cream in it, it creates kind of like Kahlua, just way better.
All right.
So, but that's that, and this is her with her product here. We're selling in New York. We got a contract with distribution over there, and it's big for us right now. So that's kind of our flagship baby that we're massaging and taking care of. So.
All right. And so this podcast is really about guns, but I like having conversations, and so
you like to talk.
Maybe. So Justin and I took a trip to Billings, Montana one time for a range day, a Black Butte indoor range. And I don't think there was 1 second of dead air the entire, 8 or 9 hours?
It's like 9 hours one way.
Yeah, in both ways.
You really start to contemplate things in a car with terror.
He almost wanted to drive into an oncoming truck. It was.
There were several times I was almost
very
blacking out what I was doing.
I have that effect on
my ears are
people.
bleeding.
I get around for a little bit, and then they just want to not be there. So anyway, Justin and I, like I said, have been in the gun industry forever. We have worked for different companies in the gun industry. I grew up in the pawn business. So how did you actually get started in the gun business itself?
Great question, Terry.
Thank you.
You've done this before.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I was working for Idaho Maximum Security Institute, which is the prison system here in Idaho, and I wanted to go back to school. So I wanted to go back, and I couldn't work in full time with them, so I had to find a job.
Okay.
And what's kind of funny is Odinworks was my first job in the industry. John White, who's at 2A now, hired me over there and worked with Tom Hines and those guys. And it started out as, at the time they were, I don't know, 8 people, and maybe not even that.
Okay.
So to see them grow over the years is really cool to be part of that. And just the expansion of that company. But that was where it all started. I was working there and hitting the ground running and trying to build accounts. And I was a sales, and kind of like an inside sales guy, and turned into almost like an outside sales guy doing the shows. And of course, SHOT Show.
And I think that's where we met. We were met. So we used to do SHOT Show, NBS, Worldwide, all of these gun shows. And so I think Justin and I can't even remember when we actually met. It was like years and years ago.
It's been years. Because I mean, Sports Inc. shows. NHW. Like all those. So we were
hung out forever. And then when I applied for the job at Nemo, it was like, hey, get in here. And and we had a great time traveling and doing shows and just doing that thing. And then everybody left. The whole crew. And so we're all still really good friends. We get together every once in a while. And the CFO from Nemo actually went to Caracal with Justin. And so Justin is currently at Caracal. And I guess you would call us serial entrepreneurs. I've been classified as that. We, started multiple businesses, and Justin likes to keep his hands in a lot of things. And
I like to stay busy.
So tell us about True, or let's see, you got True Outdoors as well.
So High Valley Outdoors.
High Valley, okay. True Calibre, High Valley.
So High Valley Outdoors is a camping equipment, supplies, outdoor equipment. It's all kind of affordable adventure is our tagline. So it's all price point type stuff. I wouldn't say inexpensive because some of it's expensive, but it's just for the people that don't want to go to Walmart and get stuff. We have very similar products they sell. But we guarantee the products. So that's High Valley Outdoors. In fact, actually, that was started by Alicia, who was at Odinworks also. She's now in Salt Lake. But awesome person, really hard worker.
Right on.
True Calibre. So True Calibre. I can't tell you a whole lot.
It's super secret, redacted, classified, but he'll talk a little bit about it.
So we're gonna get into it right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
This is, and for the record, this is the world premiere of me saying anything public about this.
Ooh,
besides
right here on Openly Concealed.
This is it. You're special.
Well, we know that, but I don't think that's the kind of special most people classify me as.
No, that's what I mean.
Oh, it is that way. Yeah.
So, all right. True Calibre. True Calibre it's a company. So right now we have a big social media presence. I was able to take this thing without.
And you've had a social media presence for it for
it's been a while.
Quite a few years.
It's been several years.
I remember talking about it at Nemo.
And it was that's when it started. Like when it was really
Okay,
big.
5 years, like 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, at least.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's been kind of an idea for a while. We've gone back and forth. Obviously, politics and how the world runs with the gun industry in this country affects some things.
Yep.
So it wasn't put on the back burner. It was just classified as a different company at one point,
Okay.
and like kind of did some different things. So the funny thing is, it started out one thing, it changed, and then now it's right back to where we started, and it's close. The rollout is happening really soon.
Okay.
I can't give you an exact date. I can tell you that we have some pretty heavy hitters that are part of the ownership with me.
Okay.
Very well-respected people in the industry.
Okay.
Not just social media.
Can you talk about those people, or is that classified, redacted information as well?
I will. All I'll say is, I mean, I can throw one name out there for sure.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna say it. We're gonna wait. I'll say it here though, live next time.
Okay. All right. So Justin will be on the show again. This will be
once we know a date, and then I will tell you it's gonna be a product line that we're gonna out with.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
All right.
So the reason why I can't release anything even though I want to really bad is because one of the people that's one of the owners, there's three of us, is quote unquote like famous especially in this industry, and is married to a really famous person.
Okay.
We just have to check that for right now.
Okay.
Although everything's pretty much rock and roll now.
All right.
So,
well, we will get there in another episode.
and it'd be really cool to get her on the show also, and maybe
he's a she.
So we'll see. We'll see how
Okay.
that works out. But it's coming. It's going to be gun related for sure.
Okay.
It's growing. It's evolving. But we have the base. It's done. Things are being made right now.
Okay.
The launch date's soon, really soon. So keep
All
your
right.
eyes out. And follow us on social media because it's already gone, and you'll probably be able to get it on social media.
Okay.
But there's some hints out there.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Correct.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So again, the main basis of this show is concealed carry, and so I like to bring that up. And one of the things I did is I made a field trip to Caracal, and so I hopefully I've got the right video here.
Do not click on the other one.
What? So we're going to show just a little short field trip to Caracal and Jim, and there were only a couple of people working that day, so we're going to play Where Is Everybody? So we'll be right back after this video. Is this the Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool,
Chicken
cool. I'm
fried
hungry.
Steak ready to go.
Right on. Where's the dining?
It would be back there next to the restroom.
Let's play Where's Jeff?
He's
And
not here.
let's play Where's Mandy?
Not here.
Let's play Where's Jim?
I'm here making it happen.
Oh, and family friendly.
Oh.
So let's play Where's Medea? And let's play Where's Justin? Justin who?
Why are you recording this? You know I'm not supposed to be on these things.
Oh, I forgot about America's Most Wanted. Okay,
Right after you hit play, we talk about this.
right after I hit play?
Wait.
Well, what? Okay, so we're going to take a... By the way, we're here at Caracal, if you didn't get the logo and the shirt on Jim. But we're just going to take a look at Justin's notes. Those are pretty clear, concise, and succinct, if you ask me.
It's actually information that cannot be given out to the public.
Oh, this will have to be redacted.
That's fine.
So, look, Justin wrote his name. All right, field trip over. Affirmative. So what happens at your local gun builder? Redacted, classified. So see these orange flags up here on this big old map of the U.S. of A. Those are places where Justin has. No, those are not Mac 10s. You're arguing with a gun guy.
So the one on the right, almost like the one on the left.
You're the same guy. Okay, listen. Linda. All right. Let's call the artist. Inquiring minds want to know what this painting truly depicts. And I'm going to ask my buddy Keith Ford at Brownells. He will, I'm sure, tell you those are indeed Uzis. Can you repeat that? You heard it here first on News Terry.
Do you want my politically correct answer? Those are submachine.
Affirmative.
Okay, here's Mac 10s, here's Uzi.
Correct.
So I thought they were Uzis also, and I did ask the original artist.
They're a hybrid then.
They are hybrid because they look like both.
Oh, a hybrid coming from the hybrid guy. So it's a submachine gun.
See, I was right.
Uzi 10.
Semi-full.
Or Mac Uzi. Semi-full auto. Tell us, what does Caracal do? What is? There is no cut. There's no director. Cue sticks go bang bang. Why are you looking at a Colt M4 carbine? What? Oh, you mean? Oh, now correct me if I'm wrong, but Colt said they weren't going to sell to the civilian market a couple years ago in the.
What?
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 You what? Huh?
I read about what Caracal.
What does Caracal think and does?
That's what semi-full automatic those things.
You know, there were truly some parts in there I thought I cut out. But,
that brought back some memories.
Oh yeah? Back room?
What?
Uh-huh. All right, so let's get to the topic of concealed carry.
Awesome.
Because that's kind of what I do. It's kind of the basis of, this place and this guy. And,
I like what you did with the place.
yeah, it's a room. Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us how long you have been handling guns, first of all.
Ooh.
Bob?
I mean, realistically, since I was a kid.
Okay.
I mean, growing up around hunting, rifles, shotguns.
So you pretty much grew up in Idaho.
No.
No?
I was born in Colorado, but we move around a lot of places.
Okay.
So, no, I didn't. I've been here for a while though.
Okay.
20 plus years.
Okay.
In Idaho, 25 plus years. My dad hunted. My brother and I hunted with him.
Okay.
We'd go fishing, hunting, whatever it is. We'd always have guns. We'd go shooting all the time. So yeah, literally probably since I was a little tiny boy.
Okay.
Been around firearms.
So when would you say you started concealed carrying? And why?
That's a wonderful question.
Uh-huh.
I would say on a regular basis, I started carrying probably about 10 years ago.
Okay.
11 to 10 years ago.
So what was your first concealed carry gun? Is it the same one you have now?
No.
Okay.
Actually, it is. I went back to that one, so it is the same.
Okay.
So I currently am carrying the Bodyguard. It's
Okay. Smith & Wesson Bodyguard.
Yeah, it's 380 Bodyguard. I did start with that one. I switched at one point and then went back to that.
What'd you switch to?
Because I sold it. It was a Glock 26. It was too fat.
Okay.
So my fat rolls and the fat gun did not.
See,
like
here's the funny thing is I don't know how many times at gun shows when I'm selling holsters, guys come up to me and go, "Oh, I'm too fat to carry," and I'm like, "No, you got this all wrong." So us guys that have a little extra body weight, Body by Donut and McDonald's and stuff. What? It's like putting a gun in a marshmallow. It hides really, really well. So, extra weight actually works to your advantage if you can it forward and kind of get it into the body.
Yeah.
Skinny guys have to carry appendix. And, Justin weighs about, 500 pounds less than I do. So, And so you carry where?
I appendix carry.
And you do that because why?
That's just how I was trained. That's how I'm used to it. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And, and I always say, depending on body type, really kind of depends on where you carry. I mean,
Sure.
Bigger guys, I recommend you carry strong side. It conceals well against the body. 30-degree cant, what we call an FBI cant forward, really kind of gets it into the body. And especially a single stack gun, like the small guns.
Yep.
And there's a trade-off with all of that. And I'll talk about that in future episodes about, kind of the trade-offs between small, large, and all the gear. There's always a trade-off with something somewhere.
What's interesting, what you just said was, I used to be, believe it or not, I used to be a lot skinnier. And that's when I first started training with appendix carry. I just kept it. Although now, even though I'm not as skinny as I was, it still fits really well because my fat protects the gun.
Huh. So it's like a holster.
It's a holster
sorts.
within a
It's
holster.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And like I said, different bodies have to wear different types. Clothing always affects things. And you're always wearing a t-shirt. I always wear, shirts made by Omar, the tent maker. And it helps stuff.
Yep.
And, people always ask me what my everyday concealed carry is. Well, it kind of changes. So, I'll change from a full-size gun to a small gun. Lately, my everyday concealed carry gun has been the Glock 43X. I'm more of a Springfield guy. I kind of really liked the XDS for a long time.
Sure.
And, Carr built the first really good single stack, but it had a very arduous trigger. So it was a great gun, easy, small to conceal, but it was hard to press the trigger. And so I didn't know how to actually do that well when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've been carrying concealed for 30 plus years, grew up in the pawn business. And so, Glock 26, what were the negatives of that when you switched to the 26?
Honestly, just the fit with my body type at the time.
Okay.
And I just didn't wear as much as I probably should have.
Okay.
I would take that in coats and stuff if I go out, like I'm going up to the cabin or hunting or like that. It's a lot easier.
Okay.
But on my body, which I'm comfortable with that. Like I want that next time I can feel it.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the feel of it. And the gun itself was great. I mean, it performed, it cleaned well, and it was. I'm a fan of Glock.
Okay.
But yeah, it was one of those
So
things.
how many of the guys would you suppose Odin Works, 2A, Nemo carried concealed?
I mean, realistically, probably really high 90%. Honestly,
and it's kind of funny because the gun industry, there are a high rate of people that carry, but it seems like, of course, coming from guys who've worked in the gun industry for a lot of years, it seems like these companies are really dysfunctional. What? Would you agree with that?
In what way?
Well, let's see.
Go on.
Generally, a lot of people who just like guns end up being owners or managers of gun companies.
Sure.
So it doesn't necessarily make a great leadership.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that I see.
Sure. I mean, I think that's across the board in this industry. You see a lot of that where being an industry expert or a product expert is one thing, but running a business is a different thing. And that's a learning curve. Like when I started my business and stuff, I had to learn. Some people don't learn as fast. Don't grasp
and it's
as
kind of
fast.
funny because Justin and I both working for these companies would try to tell owners or the people that ran it, hey, this is how the industry works,
right.
and they would never listen. And sure enough,
well, and there's a lot of turnover in those positions. And it's I don't know. It's hard because you want to believe that people are doing the best they can with what they have.
Yes.
There's certain people in certain positions for a reason, though, and that's why you and I have done that for years. I mean, the sales and marketing and the shows and the PR, in front of people.
Yep.
That you can't buy that kind of information from. I mean, it's that valuable, and so I use that in every day with my business. It's the stuff that I learned from my customers. They're the ones buying it. They're the ones using it, and the feedback is invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in the pawn business, and one of early guys in my experience, Brian Pierce, who writes for Handgunner, Handloader, Wolf Publications, basically a lot of different magazines. And so at the pawn shop, we transferred all of his guns. So companies would send him guns and he would test them out and write an article on them. And he's got an amazing collection. He was like, I think he was hands-on, if I remember right. He was hands-on in helping with the development of the LCP back with Ruger. And he was the first one to test the Ruger 327 Federal.
Very cool.
So he, you know, a lot of my knowledge in the pawn business, I actually learned from Brian. And so if I ever had a question, I'm like, hey, what's this and what's that? And I was probably one of those annoying little kids because I want to know why.
Yeah.
You know, don't just tell me something, show me why and how. And, you know, I guess I'm kind of a MacGyver type.
Sure.
If I understand how it works, it's a lot easier to like troubleshoot. And I think we get caught up in this, we'll just do this.
Right.
Well, why? I want to know why. And if you tell me why, it just makes more sense. And I think people learn better that way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, when you're growing up doing guns, who did you learn from?
I've never grown up. So
there is that.
you know, that's a good question you asked because a lot of it was from my dad.
Okay.
Like, just being around him and asking questions, and he was a big gun
So
guy.
did your dad grow up in Colorado, or did he?
Well, he was in the federal government, so we.
Okay.
But he ended up. He was born in Arizona and moved around Oklahoma, spent time in Oklahoma.
Okay.
We're nomads. We were all over the place. But no, he did a lot of, you know, hunting and that kind of stuff, tracking work for the government with wildlife services. So he was around guns all the time.
Okay.
So he was the main reason like that. I got any knowledge that I got from that. But you know, honestly too, shout out to like even the owners I worked for and the questions. I mean, I was dumb and, you know, just raw going right in and, you know, I'd ask a million questions and make answers and I would learn from that. So, but that, I would say my dad for sure was like the first real big influence that got me onto it. And anytime I had a question that's to this day, if I have a question to something, I'd go to him first.
Okay. So what would you say initially sparked your interest in the whole gun thing? Was it seeing your dad hunting or?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think it was. Yeah, that was the guy I looked up to, and he's out there hunting, and I wanted to be part of it. And so then I got my first gun and my little 1022. And, you
so
know,
does your dad conceal carry?
He does and doesn't. He doesn't as much as I try to get him to.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. He has probably 5 times as many guns as I have. So he has plenty to choose from.
Okay.
But he doesn't as much as I mean, I bark him all the time to go conceal carry. He does every now and then. But, and he actually, we're owners. He's my partner with Centerfire Distillery. So he's there by himself sometimes working. I want to make sure that the liquor's not going to go anywhere. So
internally and externally. Oh, most definitely. Yes. So kind of a funny story too, because while I was at Nemo, I did a private corporate class for the entire Nemo staff, and that was fun.
It was fun.
I enjoyed. That really is my passion, and I just remember some of the antics with some of the guys, and I won't mention names or anything.
I'm sorry. I told you I was sorry. Shh. That, you know, from my point of view, A, it was entertaining and fun.
Yes.
B, it was knowledgeable. I learned more than I thought I was going to learn. And it was cool having everybody's like spouses or friends or, you know, else that we could invite and go to that for like a private session at Nemo, which is pretty cool. So that was one of the highlights definitely of being there and experiencing that.
Yeah, well, and then the trips. I mean, like that trip to Billings was just absolutely amazing. I mean, and you know, the one time in Justin's life when he outshot me.
That's a true story.
It was.
We only competed once, and I'm 1 for 1, so I'm never doing it again.
That's back a little earlier in my career. It was a bad day.
It was yesterday.
Well, yesterday?
No. What?
Wait.
No. Do you? Okay. No. Go on. Next
Negative.
topic. I won. I'll just leave it at that.
Yes. So we just recently did a range day. So can we talk about this?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
this is the first public announcement for that too.
Okay. So first public announcement. Justin and I are actually organizing and setting up a range event for Turning Point USA.
Yep.
And it's really kind of the Treasure Valley chapter.
Yep.
It's a little more specific, but we can't talk about that
right.
for certain reasons. But anyway, so we're setting up a range day, and we're gonna. I think we started off as a small little like bunch of college kids who are conservative that want to learn how to shoot and kind of be around guns, wanted a chance and an opportunity to shoot guns. So we started talking about it, and it kind of blossomed into something a little bigger than we actually anticipated. And so we're still in the planning stages. We're still working on stuff, but it's going to be a fun event. I think we're gonna be doing it at Double Tap Range, which is in Boise, exit 71. The owner is Mark. He is actually a firearms instructor for Department of Homeland Security, and so it's mostly a bunch of us instructors that teach classes out there. But he does have some private memberships where you can go out there and shoot, and so neat place. And so as an instructor, I use Double Tap, and I also use Blacks Creek Range, depending on what I'm doing. But I'm really excited about this event. We're going to have food vendors out there. We're going to have shooting events. Hopefully, we'll have what all have we talked about?
Yeah.
As far
So
as,
the plan is, like you said, it started out as something really small, kind of a more intimate setting of just training firearms, getting used to those, and it turned into, well, what if we did this? What if this? And then all these companies jumped on. So right now it's a full vendor day with vendors, manufacturers bringing out their toys so people can shoot that. There'll be giveaways, raffles, food vendors, Black Rifle Coffee will be there. We got axe throwing. There'll be archery demonstrations.
we're hoping to have like National Guard, Marines, different people
They can come out and set up.
We're hoping to get a flyover because that's not too far off of where the bombing range is. So I'm hoping we can get some American A10s and America. Yes.
Yep.
The sound of freedom.
Yeah, it's the best sound in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I hear it in my dreams.
Besides.
So redacted, classified. So one of the things too is like, getting the National Guard out there, maybe get some tanks, not to shoot, but to have kids.
Why not?
Oh, if they want, that'd be cool. Not sure if Mark would like that at the range.
That might bring up something or something.
Or Humvees or something. I guess really bring the community, especially in the Boise area, together. What's cool is Turning Point USA is a conservative movement. It's more of capitalism type push for high school and college age. You don't have to be. You don't have to be conservative. You don't have to be anything. You could be whatever you want to be, and you're welcome to come out and learn how to shoot guns and be safe and all that. So that's kind of the event there. And
so it was originally just going to be the college kids, and then we kind of opened it up. So I think it's going to be a pretty big event, and so it ought to be fun.
I think so. We're calling it the Blast from the Past, and the name is because we had a whole year of COVID where nobody can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're all itching to get out and do something fun and get back at it and do a show outdoors.
I think this whole thing has brought a lot of people being indoors, depression.
Sure.
I think we've seen a high rate of suicide and just depression from, we're not geared to, certain people are introverts, but we as people are not necessarily geared to being isolated.
Right.
We're geared to fellowship and to talk and to be around each other. And so I think when that doesn't happen, man, it really, it's a tough thing. And so I'm glad things are kind of getting back to normal. Idaho's really kind of settling back into a little bit of normal and getting back into things. So, I'm excited about that. The mask mandate and things are kind of, so my wife works for St. Luke's and they haven't made it mandatory yet, but they've talked about shots. And so, she did some research on the shots and 2 of them have not been approved by the FDA and are like new technology as far as like, I can't remember exactly how she explained it, but then Johnson & Johnson has a vaccine that's more like a regular flu shot where you get a small dose that's inhibited, or it's what's the word they use? It's deactivated basically, that flu. And so she's, I'm not sure where she's going to go with that. I haven't done flu shots. Do you do flu shots?
It's funny. I normally do, and I didn't at all this year, which is the year you probably should have. It's COVID and stuff, and I just didn't. So I don't know if I never got sick. Normal sick.
You've been sick through it.
Correct. Yes. Never had the flu. Never got. I had one week of a cold symptoms.
So let's talk about this. How much do you suppose this whole swirl of So with us being in the gun industry forever, we see the same antics every
What? We do?
every election year.
Oh yeah.
Different name,
Uh
same antics,
Correct.
distractions, and so
Sure, yeah.
I'm not, my goal here is not to get into politics, but I do, we've been in the industry a long freaking time, and you see these things just play out, and you're like, it's no surprise. We don't get surprised, and when we see vacuums and bubbles in the industry with the price of guns, price of ammo, they happen every freaking election year.
Well, and we saw, I think this last election, I mean, it was just unique. Everything was unique about the last several years that we've had in this country. And so this last election where, whether you want to call foul or not on anything, a lot of emotions are involved.
Yeah.
And with that, I mean, we saw the highest, even registered Democrats, the highest number in the history go buy guns. Traditionally, owning a gun is more a red thing, more Republican thing.
Sure. Yeah.
But it just goes to show you, like, even with all the high energy going on, with whether it's negative or positive, you can't find ammo. Ammo's expensive. You can't find guns. Guns are expensive.
Yep.
Everything's expensive right now.
So in talking about that, so as an instructor, I've seen this last year, a high amount of people who would have classified themselves as liberals, non-gun people, are buying guns, buying ammo, getting training. So I would say 25% of my classes this last year and a half have been liberals that have crossed over, and and you really think about it. This is people are like, man, why is ammo so expensive? Why can't you get it? Well, you think about the market and the industry, and it happens all the time. But when you take something like a pandemic, and then you add BLM and Antifa, and all this panic and all this people being scared, and you take a market that used to be 20%. So guys like Justin and I, anybody in the gun industry, buy guns and ammo on a pretty regular basis. No panic, just casual. And then you grow that by 40, 50%. Right. It creates a supply and demand issue. Unlike same as any other thing. Sure. When more people start buying and you grow that demographic, it's going to create bottlenecks in the industry. Right. And we see it every election year.
And with the manufacturing side of things, like Caracal right now. So I'm the director of sales and marketing, and help with everything else on the side. And manufacturing farms, I mean, anybody that knows Caracal knows we've been taking a long time to get to actually have products on a regular basis. There's a lot of things that happen, like whether we're owned by a foreign entity, working with them to dial it in with budgets and whatnot. That's all good now. Moving from New Hampshire to Boise.
Okay, and so that's what I was going to ask you to talk about. So the plant, the facility was in New Hampshire.
It was, yeah.
And it's all slowly being moved here. Correct?
So it's here now. It was all of our manufacturing, I guess. I mean, all the production was over on the East Coast in New Hampshire. All of the admin and headquarters was here. So and it worked fine. The distance was really difficult. Everybody's on the same page. You have to have a lot of meetings. Meetings take time with other stuff. So ultimately, we decided to move the entire operation, everything to Boise. Okay. It's here now. We're actually getting ready to go into a new building here in Nampa.
Right. So the field trip that I took, was in Boise, and you're moving to Nampa?
We're moving to Nampa.
Yep. Okay.
So that's just an office right now that we've been in for a while. That's where the headquarters was. We're still there. We're still going to be there probably for the next couple of months until the building's finished in Nampa. Okay. The sooner the better. I mean, it gives us more room. We can actually do more prototypes.
Get stuff built. Yep. And I didn't take a trip into the back room because things are in flux, and but we'll do another field trip to the new facility.
Yeah, absolutely.
At some point, and we'll do another field trip video where we show kind of what they do, and
it'd be exciting. I'll be sick that day. So one thing, just to touch base on Caracal a little bit, like for people that don't know Caracal, it truly is, like, this is kind of a joke, and I say this all the time, but it truly is the world's largest gun company that you probably never heard of.
Okay.
Because here in the States, we're still a baby. We're an infant. We're still brand new. Yeah. Which is exciting because we still have room to grow. Overseas, we do a lot of contracts.
Military,
government, law enforcement. That's almost 100% of the business for a long time.
Yeah.
So we're new to the commercial market. That's a big push for distribution, all that. That's where we're going to focus on, moving forward. That's what we were focused on until COVID hit.
And so when we do another walkthrough, another field trip to the new Caracal location, what we'll do is we'll try to couple that with a gear review.
Yeah,
maybe a rifle and a pistol.
Yep.
And they actually have a new sight system that's pretty clever, if you ask me.
It's clever.
It brilliant.
Brilliantly clever.
Clever, yes.
Yeah.
So we'll do a review on that. Justin and I
awesome.
will, go out and film a review on that.
Yeah.
I'm all about trying new gear, and some things work for people. Some things work for other people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I figured out as an instructor, talking to and coaching people every day. There are certain guns that just don't work for certain people, and so
Glock 26.
I will do. I will do a review on the new EZ Smith & Wesson. I have found some anomalies, I guess I want to call it. And I don't want to like diss on anybody, but at the same time, when you're when you got boots on the ground and you're like training people every day, and you see the fallbacks for certain people, and it's not everybody, but there are certain types of folks that it just doesn't really work for, even though it's kind of like the most popular gun out there. And so, that's kind of my goal as somebody who does this and doing the podcast, is just talking about the realities. I mean, we hear so much street advice and so much stuff from people out there. Oh, you can do this, you can do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it gives me a headache.
Well, and the unfortunate thing now with the internet, you can get someone's opinion and then go find an article that is totally different than that other opinion for you. So it's really hands-on stuff. You have to get out there and actually try it.
And that's what I tell people
like you to help them with that.
Well, and I would rather, when people take my class, they're always like, I need to go buy a gun. I'm like, no, please don't.
Yeah.
I will either rent you guns, or I will, or if you've got a friend that's got guns you can borrow a gun to get through the class. Because one of the things you start realizing is you can't reach the controls, or you have to change your grip to reach something, or you can't rack it, or you can't, and a lot of people assume that when their gun malfunctions, it's the gun. I'm going to tell you, 90% of the time, it is the user, bad technique, wrong gun, not the right practice. I mean, just so many things. And that's really my heart and soul, is just like giving people the right information. And not just like being that guy. I mean, how many times you go to the gun counter, and you got some guy behind the counter, and God bless them, they do what they do. But, oh, you got to have this. You got to have this. And I'm like,
it's just like any other retail, though. I mean, here's what's hot right now.
This is a hot thing, so you need to buy it.
But one thing that people don't understand, especially if we talk about like the liberal kind of people that are now coming over, they don't understand that. They don't understand what's good, what's bad, what's good for them.
Yeah.
It's getting behind that gun and just using it and practicing, and you have to know that gun.
And and those people that don't know that, they get to a gun store, this and this and this and this, and then they get out there on the range with me, and I never put people under pressure, but I do give you a sense of urgency.
Sure.
And just in that little bit alone, you start realizing, okay, this isn't effective. This isn't working. And so, like I said, it's a tough place to be when you're selling. But it's always, when I was in the pawn business, for me, it was all about, people bought from me because they trusted me, because I'm going to give them all this, I guess, all the facts, and not just like, well, this is a hot thing, so buy this. Well, this does this, but it's bad at that. And it does, and so I really like getting the right information out there. So that's one of the reasons I want to do reviews and just talk about some of those issues with some of those guns that, I've been a Springfield guy for years and years. In fact, I need to tell that story about Ron Martinez introducing me to the president of Glock USA. And I was a Springfield guy back then. Still kind of am, but my everyday carry is a Glock 43X now. But don't tell anybody. I don't know how many of my friends are like, dude, you sold out. And I'm like, a gun's a gun. At the end of the day, it's kind of like, I'm a guitar player too. And at the end of the day, I don't care whose name is on it, what model it is, what make it is, any of that. If it does what it's supposed to do, and one of the things I get across in my class is, at the end of the day, all guns do the same thing.
Yeah.
You activate the trigger, and I don't care if it's a semi-automatic, a revolver, double action, single action, bolt action, pump action. At the end of the day, all those guns do the same thing. We activate the trigger, and that sends a projectile downrange.
Yeah.
And so it has less to do with make and model as it does getting the right
when
technique.
politicians say guns kill people, that's not true. What?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yes. A gun is a tool. It's an implement. This is a tool. This is an implement for making phone calls and texting Justin when he's supposed to be over here doing a podcast.
Yeah, we're a little late
and stuff.
One of those
Um,
days.
But at the end of the day, if I whack you with it, this is designed to write with. It's a utensil. But if I jam it through your eye socket or your temple or your eardrum,
Good luck trying.
it becomes a weapon. And so it's not the tool. It's not the implement.
Right.
It is the motive behind it. And I know we're preaching to the choir. We all know that. But, and here's my biggest pet peeve. And I'll give you one of my favorite quotes. If you operate on emotion, it will always create a commotion. It never goes right. When we let our emotions dictate or elicit a response, it never goes well. And so we have to be more linear in our thinking and in our techniques. And it changes everything from failure to success. And so I'm a big advocate of proper technique, proper gear, finding that balance in all of those things. And so we're going to take another quick break here. We're going to do Terry's tip of the day. I want to start introducing this tip of the day, and they're just like the good, the bad, the ugly of concealed carry. And so, as we go on, things will start being a little more produced. And but right now, it's a one-man show. This is two guys.
One show, one man, two guys.
Yes.
One tip.
And so I'm going to give you the tip of the day, and then we'll go back and we'll keep having that conversation. Today's tip of the day. Dry practice. Dry practice is a very effective tool to learn how to get your shooting on par without wasting any money firing rounds. A lot of people assume that you have to fire rounds downrange in order to get good shooting. That is not true. First thing we need to do is learn the 3 secrets of a perfect shot. First secret is sight alignment. Get that front sight lined up with the rear sight. And the easiest way to remember that is equal height, equal light. So front sight is level with the back sight. Equal amounts of daylight on each side of the front sight within the back sight notch. From there, proper sight picture, and that is leveling those aligned sights and cross-secting your objective horizontally and vertically. So you're cross-secting your target horizontally and vertically with those aligned sights. Top of the sights across the middle of the horizontal plane of your objective, and then the front sight is going to cross-sect the vertical plane of your objective. Once that is set, your gun is pointed where it's going to shoot. So as long as nothing moves, it'll shoot right in that spot. So what we have to do then is learn how to activate the trigger properly. And that's done by, first thing we want to do is chamber check, magazine check our gun anytime we're messing with it. So chamber check, make sure there's nothing in the chamber. Magazine check, make sure there's nothing in there. And then from there, we start our dry practice. So sight alignment, sight picture. And the first thing we got to do is get all of this. This is what we call slack. Okay, and that's free movement where there's no pressure against the trigger. So that's the first thing we do is get that slack out of the trigger first. And then from there, we activate that trigger without moving our sights. And if we can do that, those shots land exactly where that gun is pointed. But we mess it up by gripping, squeezing, pulling, twisting, and turning in all the wrong spots, which causes a deviation in our sights, which creates those shots that don't land where we want them to. So again, the 3 secrets are sight alignment, sight picture, get the slack out, and then activate the trigger without moving your sights. And that is the secret sauce. And the more dry practice you can spend making sure that front sight's not moving when you activate the trigger, the more effective your shooting is going to be when you get on the range. So that's today's tip of the day. And so hopefully you'll take this dry practice and implement it, and you'll see a lot better results when you go out there and start firing your gun. Thanks for tuning in. You like Todd?
I like Todd.
He's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So we'll have a tip of the day pretty much every day. We probably won't do a field trip every what?
What?
Mom?
What?
Classified redacted. We can't have that on here. So anyway, let's talk again
Okay.
about the distillery.
Okay, let's talk.
So, what got you started in the distillery?
Alcohol.
But
Money.
What? Oh, so it was just a money thing.
I actually started brewing beer in my garage. Brewing beer.
Oh, micro
So
beer.
homemade, microbrews.
Okay.
Got some really cool recipes, did some different things. We were at a point where I was with one of my buddies from high school. We can go commercial with this stuff. It's really cool. We had enough money saved up. Well, at that time, anybody that's from the Treasure Valley knows that there's a lot of microbreweries here.
Yes.
It just
Lots
blew
of
up. It blew up. And for us to jump in and compete, it'd just be too expensive. We didn't want to deal with that. So for us to market our products, we didn't want to put the funds into that. So we pulled back a little bit at the exact same time when we started saying, let's deviate and do something different. A small distillery was actually selling all of his equipment and everything. So I got a hold of him and we went back and forth for a few months, negotiated it, and we bought it.
So you viewers at home, a brewery is beer and brew beer. A distillery, you distill.
And distilling is just high alcohol content. And you're getting it really, really hot. You're taking it up to as high as
So
you want,
is the alcohol itself created from the vapor, or is it created from just getting it hot?
So
you know, I'm a mechanics guy. I want to know how this works.
You have to do a field trip to Centerfire then to see all this.
We will do that. We're going to have a field trip to Centerfire, and we will see how it's done.
So we have it's actually pretty cool. So we have column stills where we actually distill the mash and the wash and all that we make.
Okay.
We put it in there, and I'm sure you've seen them. Like there's it's almost like a tower, and you got little windows that go up.
Yeah.
So as it heats up, and got these heating coils inside of it, and the liquid itself is heating up to extreme heats.
How hot do you suppose they get? I mean,
I've never actually tested it because you can adjust it.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that because I'm not sure how the pot itself, how hot it actually gets.
Okay.
Hot enough to turn the alcohol into vapor.
Okay.
So what happens is it turns to vapor, and that's what rises.
Okay, and does that become then the alcohol?
So what that is when it's going up through the windows and all that.
Okay. When
you get your product, when it cools back down, it turns into liquid again, and that's what spits it out.
Okay.
Back in the day when they talked about moonshiners and getting blind or deaf or dying from moonshine, that's because they would put this through these stills, and they would never strip any of the bad stuff out. They just leave it all in it. So
now, bad stuff. What bad stuff is in it?
So there's heads, hearts, and tails that are cuts that they're live. So there's good alcohol and there's bad alcohol. So you want to make sure you strip the bad alcohol out. And you can actually, what's funny is we taste test it. So you can actually dip a little bit of your finger in there and taste it to see if it's good or bad. It changes drastically. You know the difference.
Okay.
There's other meters that we can use also, sensors that we can test it. So we do both. The taste test is the easiest and quickest to do it.
Okay.
Once that's stripped out, you can get rid of it. We can sell it to the airports or whatever for jet fuel.
Is that what they use it for?
Yeah. So that's why you go blind if you drink it. Don't drink it. It smells really good though, which is bizarre.
Really?
Yeah, it smells good, but it's not good.
Huh? What does it smell like?
It's almost like a sweet smell.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. But it's bad.
So it's all corn based, basically.
You can do a lot of different things: grains, corn, rye, grapes, whatever.
Really?
We use corn for our whiskey. Our moonshines are all corn based. The whiskey that's in this is a corn base.
Okay.
So we use that just because it's readily available here in Idaho. We haven't dipped into vodkas or anything yet, but obviously potatoes would be a cool thing to deal with, and it's really easy to.
We live in the potato state.
Well, it's the Gem State, but we're known for our famous Idaho potatoes.
You know what else we're known for, which I didn't know until a few years ago, is soybeans.
Did not know that.
We're actually a very big east, I guess.
Interesting.
A lot of soybean farming goes on, so I think we actually export more soybeans than we do potatoes.
Oh, that's interesting. So
I don't know that for sure. I remember hearing.
I think you need to fact
like
check. We'll find out though.
Nah,
but
I'm good to just fly.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, my wife is always like,
yeah, that's what Google's for.
Yeah.
The
The Oracle.
Yeah. So one thing too we're known for is hops.
Oh, yeah.
We grow a ton of hops. in
Wilder,
Yep.
Parma area.
Bunch. Yep. So we compete with Washington and Oregon all the time. For
Wow.
hops, distribution. So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
But anyway,
So
yeah.
and I have yet to get coffee, just coffee without the whiskey.
I am ashamed. I thought you did.
Just whiskey.
Okay. Well, I'm embarrassed. We can change that.
Okay, well, I am a
It's
coffee
really
guy. So, my wife went to, she did her master's at NNU. And so they went on a trip to Costa Rica. So she went to a coffee plantation. It was awesome.
Oh.
And she, I forget the name of the plantation, but she brought back some beans. They were so good. It's so good. We order by the case from Costa Rica. And
American coffee's not good enough for you?
No. Well, she just came back from Denver. So she flew through, or she went to Dallas, flew through Denver. One of her favorite coffees up until the Costa Rica was Dasbog, which I think is a German, or not German, a Russian. I don't know. I've probably got my facts all wrong. But anyway, she loved Dasbog coffee.
Gotcha.
So I got her like a subscription to get like so many coffee cups and coffee bags.
How nice you are.
I'm kind of cool that way. But anyway,
I will change that. I'm going to change you because it's good coffee.
Okay, hey, I'll try it. And if it's American made, that's even better.
It's almost as good as her voice, her singing.
Oh,
but not quite. So
and
of that-
maybe we can have her as a guest star.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
next
fun.
time you're on.
Sure.
We can bring her in as a guest and
that'd be
remotely, and we'll talk to Claudia about
That'd be cool.
the coffee and the drunken bean and
whiskey,
see how things are going.
She's coming out with a new album soon too, so pretty
Alright.
soon that's gonna be launching. So it's cool because she's a smaller name out here.
She's big back east.
She's bigger back east, so it's just newer out here. But I mean, she's played with some of the bigger names out there before.
Okay.
So it's really exciting. Phenomenal voice. I mean,
Yeah.
she's gonna go somewhere with that. So it's kind of exciting to
Right on.
partner up with that.
Maybe she'll let me join her band, even though I'm a heavy metal guy. Yeah. Okay.
Someday.
Probably not going to happen. So
So we'll just drop that right there.
let's forget about that.
Okay. This is
I'm
awkward.
still going to ask though.
You should.
So anyway, hey, well, thank you for joining us for this episode of Openly Concealed with Terry Piper.
One more thing.
One more.
I forgot to tell you.
I didn't do it.
No, you did. But
Okay.
I asked so I have 2 dogs. Those of you that know, I have 2 pups,
Okay.
labs, crazy animals. Actually, they're 9 months old now, but
And they are labs, right?
you have a charcoal lab and a silver lab.
Okay.
And they're siblings.
gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Georges. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was talking to my dog the other day, Riggins. His name's Riggins. He's the male.
Does he speak Swahili?
Well, I asked him. I was looking at him, tell him good dog, good boy, all that stuff. And I asked him, I go, Riggins, what's 2 minus 2? And he said nothing.
Wow. That's a smart dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I have my dog here. I thought about
I saw
letting him
that.
in here.
I'm
but,
actually disappointed you didn't.
you can go let him in. If you want to. We've got like
How much time do we have?
45 seconds.
Let's
Hurry
go.
up, hurry
Let's
up,
go.
hurry up. So, funny story about my dog. It's actually my wife's dog. She made it clear that when we got this dog, it was her dog. And I said, okay, but I get to name the dog. Well, so the first thing she tells me is no gun names. And, well, his name is Ruger. So, Ruger, come here, buddy. Hey, buddy. There he is. Come here. Hey. Or go over to
Release the Kraken.
Traitor.
Rugs?
Traitor.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so this is my dog Ruger. He's the Idaho Enhanced mascot in the Ultimate Hybrid. So that's another thing we'll be doing is reviews. I'll be reviewing my gear, Ultimate Hybrid Technologies. We have a hybrid holster that fits over 200 handguns with no shell change, no hardware, no duals. And so very comfortable, flexible, and versatile. So anyway, thanks for this watching this episode, and feel free to comment if you have things you want us to talk about, people you want us to talk to. Let us know. We're going to have guest stars like Ron Martinez, former owner of Gemtech.
Nice.
We're going to have a lot of cool people on the show. So hopefully some good friends of mine that are famous. And have them on the show and just have conversations about this concealed carry, open carry, this idea of carrying a gun and anything related to guns. I'm good for that talk. I usually have more talk than people have listening.
I'm sorry, I was listening.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty much. So,
Hey.
that's it for this episode.
I'm hungry. Let's go eat.
And we're going to go grab something to eat. So take care.